Mountaineer got started, I guess, 2015, and Miguel and I wrote an album, first Mountaineer album.
Clayton hit me up, and he's like, I have these demos, you want to check them out? Send them to me, and I like the music, so I was like, yeah, let's see what we can do. So the changes that we've had in the band since the first record up until now are mainly that we got a little bit heavier and more landscapey.
Yeah, I think we've gotten more cinematic over time. And this new album, I think it's the best of all the worlds of the things that we've done over the years. Just refined it on this new record, so it's a lot more of everything. It's heavy, but it's also poppy and catchy. Fucking rules. This new record, Dawn and All That Follows, is we wrote it collaboratively, more so than we ever have in the past. Somebody would come in with a riff, or maybe like a verse and a chorus riff, and then everyone would write their own parts and we'd arrange it as a band.
We just hit play and recorded whatever we came up with, and we kept the best out of that. Everyone brought something cool that makes this one release a lot more special than the ones before.
So Forrest and I have been a part of Mountaineer since shortly after the release of Passages in, I think that was 2018. And we joined Mountaineer pretty much to give support for them playing some live shows. And we've really been a part of the songwriting process since Bloodletting came out, which was the third album.
The big thing that's really progressed between all the albums is just really opening the ceiling in terms of how many layers and how many different effects and sounds we're adding to the record to really get that overall composition that we're going after, instead of in a more traditional setting kind of capping it at maybe 1 or 2 or 3 guitar layers or any sort of other effects to add to the overall texture of the music. I think one thing that's really awesome is kind of, not as a band, we all sort of have our own personal tastes in music that aren't necessarily super aligned, so that kind of gives that shift in perspective when people hear someone else's idea and then process it differently and come back with their own kind of flavor and take, and we kind of mix it all together in a big pot.
I think it shows in the album that we're trying things out and open to experimentation, and it's sounding really cool as a result.
I was approached by Miguel probably, I don't know, maybe 2020, 2019, a few years ago. He'd seen me play a few bar gigs around Martinez, where I live, and my band was playing some shows around there, and he seen me play a few times, and he approached me and asked if I wanted to join. And yeah, he just kind of hit me up after the after Bloodletting was finally finished recording. We finally got in touch.
Yeah, I joined Mountaineer, I want to say it was fall of 2021, and came in to get ready to play some shows, and we wrote a bunch of music. We're here recording an album, and the experience has been awesome. It's 6 guys in there really just working collectively, and yeah, it's been great.
I'm Ben Hirschfield, and I am producing this Mountaineer record. The biggest change I've seen over time, in particular with this album, is every part is really extremely intentional, whereas in previous albums we would kind of just throw shit at the wall and everything would stick, and it would be a wall of sound of 100 million guitar layers, and which is a cool sound, which is a heavy sound. But with this album, we really tried to only put what was necessary and just get the perfect tone of this part, get the perfect tone of that part, get the perfect tone of this part, and every part adds up to build, the song, and every part is really essential, and every part is really, defines that song. So yeah, the ultimate goal is just being open and listening and trying to empathize or just really understand who I'm working with and what they want and what's going to make their best, recording.
What's the plot of Hell Comes to Frogtown?
Hell Comes to Frogtown. So it's Roddy Piper, who's famed professional wrestler, and starred in They Live, which I guess is the same year as Hell Comes to Frogtown. But essentially, Hell Comes to Frogtown takes place in a dystopian future where a nuclear holocaust has hit, and human men are not fertile, and so the population is dwindling. And the government has set up an agency whose priority is finding men who are actually fertile. And it turns out Roddy Piper is extremely fertile. And so he is basically kidnapped by the government and has to go on this mission to repopulate Earth. Also, there's mutant frogs, so that's also an element of the movie. And so basically he fights evil frogs and hooks up with chicks and repopulates the Earth.
Cool.
So, just have to say it to it for you.
I guess the writing process was about 18 months total for this. Practiced the shit out of the songs, as much as we could. Probably, I think individually all took the songs home and hammered on them. We planned, when we went in the studio, we planned to click everything. We had clicks, and we all kind of practiced those individually. And then when it came time and we actually went in to record the songs, we just felt like, we wanted more of a live feel.
Yeah, we did the scratch tracks at Clayton's house.
Yep.
And the tempo was kind of, it was slow, it was fast, and we were playing at a certain tempo. When we went to record the scratch tracks, it was a little either too slow or too fast.
Yeah.
And luckily Ben was able to just kind of help us out and just play the song as you want to play it, and we'll put a track to it, and it was very just effortless, and
it went well.
You were pretty consistent too. I remember him saying it was like 116 every time on the dot. Every time you played, it was perfect.
We were surprised we were surprised at how not having that click track when we played was it came out okay.
Yeah,
and it was fine when we went back and listened. It's more it was a better live feel.
No, yeah, exactly.
For sure. Like for me, when we come in and there's a riff thrown out there, and maybe we come up with maybe a whole song in practice. So I write just kind of the basic. Okay, this gets me through the song, but then the actual video recording that we did is super key.
Yeah.
Because I take that home, I send it out to all the guys, and we individually will watch it, and that's when I really write my shit. Is I listen to it. I've even got notes. I'll take notes. All right, this is what I think is going to work, and then I'll actually take that to the drum set and try stuff out.
Usually, what I'll do is I trial and error. Honestly, if I get a weird look from someone, then I know I probably didn't do it, and I'll just stop, and I just won't do that ever again.
Yeah.
But if no one ever says anything, I'll just keep trying to work on the idea over and over again. Like for the intro to Dawn, where I had that bass part in the intro. I thought that it was kind of weird at first, but I just kept working on it and working on it, and then it just stuck to what it was, and then you have to know when to not add too much, or when when's too far.
Less is more.
So yeah, exactly. So I've learned that playing with these guys after a while, that sometimes a little bit less is good, and
because we are 6 people, so
yeah,
there's
a lot of parts. You play one new note,
layers.
And that one note might not match with a chord someone's doing or an arpeggio.
These parts have to go. Individually they have to be good, and then collectively they have to sound good, because these guys are up doing high lines and doing all the different guitar tracks. So for us, we got to keep it here, keep it grooving.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was different about Mountaineer.